Hey guys, what's up? So what do I mean when I say that there is no such thing as a Palestinian people? What I mean is that there is no such thing in history. And it's actually very simple to go and read history and see that there is no mentioning of Palestinian people. There's simply no mention of that such a thing. Go back to the 19th century. You have, for example, Napoleon Bonaparte. You know who is Napoleon, right? You saw the movie, you read the book, you saw the miniseries, whatever. This guy invaded the land of Israel in the year 1799. At that time, the land was a part of the Ottoman Empire. He tried to conquer the land. The British didn't let him, and he ended up running away, leaving his army behind. But in all of his writing, you don't see him mentioning any Palestinian people. He's simply not mentioning such a group. He's mentioning Jews, he's mentioning Arabs, Syrians, Turks, Mohammedan, something like this, but he's not mentioning Palestinian people. So he's not the only one. You have Sir Moses Montefiore, which was a British minister that was benevolent of the Jewish community in the land of Israel, particularly in Jerusalem in the middle of the 19th century. He visited the land many times. He donated a big amount of money to the Jewish community, which was poor. And he and also his wife and other of his helpers write a lot. There's a lot of writing about him. There's a lot of monument that he erected in the land. He's not mentioning any Palestinians. Nothing. He's not the only one. In the year 1842, 45, 47, you have the British consul of Jerusalem, James Finn, and he write a very big book that we can still read today about the life in the land of Israel during that specific time. It's called A View from Jerusalem. His wife Anne also wrote a book of a similar subject. They don't mention any Palestinian people. They're mentioning Arabs, Muslim, Mohammedan. They're mentioning Jews. They were focusing on the Jews because James Finn and his wife assisted the Jews in Jerusalem and also in Hebron heavily because they were poor and they were oppressed by the Muslims. They don't mention any Palestinian people. This group simply doesn't exist. It doesn't appear there. All right? Now, they're not the only one. You have, for example, Schwartz, Yosef Ben Menachem Schwartz, a Jewish historian. He was in Jerusalem, was all over the land in the 30s, the 1830s. He wrote a very famous book called The Wealth of the Land, V'ot Haaretz. And he writes a lot about the Arabs. He writes about riots of the Arabs, the rebellions against the Egyptians. He writes how they massacred Jews in the year 1834. He's not mentioning any Palestinians. It's not there. All right, he's mentioning Arabs and Muslims, Turks, but not Palestinians. And it's not the only one. You have a skip forward. You have 1860 something. You have Mark Twain. You know Mark Twain, right? He's the one that wrote a famous book like Huckleberry Finn, right? Huckleberry Finn, a very famous story. He was in the land of Israel, and he actually wrote a book about it. And he writes a lot about how the land is desolate, and he's right about how the people are poor and how it's dangerous and there are diseases and malaria, and you can't go there and you can't go there, and you walk kilometers and you simply don't meet even one soul. He's not mentioning any Palestinians. All right. More than that, you have people like Jews that were living in the land. For example, you have Hillel Yaffe, for example, was a very famous Jewish doctor from Jerusalem, was one of the founder of the Jewish town Petah Tikva. People like this, like that, they write a lot as well, and we have their writing. They don't mention any Palestinians. All right. So in the 19th century and before that, you simply don't have mentioning of the group Palestinians. You have Jews as because Jews are a nation. Jews are the name of the nation is Israel. Okay, and this is why when Israel was established, they called their state Israel because this is the name of the nation. Okay, it's very simple. But there is no mention of any Palestinians, which is a completely new term, and trying to copy, cut, and paste it on the Arabs that lived there in the 19th century. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense, and this is why I think that maybe 10, 20 years from now, this Palestinian film will be deserted, just like Bug 2000 was deserted. Simply a fluke, like a bad idea. Okay, that's it. There is no such thing as a Palestinian people. There are Arabs, just like there are Arabs in Syria, in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Egypt. But there is no such thing as a Palestinian people. It doesn't exist.